The waking and sleep states and the I am consciousness, these three are not your attributes, but the attributes of that chemical. To what does the word birth apply? Is it not the birth of that which is in the body which makes it conscious? The chemical denotes the love the self has for itself, and of which it wants to continue. All experiences will be a means of suffering if one hasn't realized what they are. All experiences are due to memories and are merely movements in consciousness, and therefore they cannot last. Happiness and unhappiness come and go. If you have a correct perspective, the world is still going on with a sense of quietude. Nature has the institution of death. If death did not exist, there would be an unbearable accumulation of memories. People come and go, the memories are wiped out, therefore there is a sense of balance. But what is known to be temporary seems as if it were going to last forever when it is enjoyed. What is to be done? Whatever you do will end in a calamity, but you will not stop doing it because this is the nature of the body consciousness. Death is considered to be a traumatic experience. But understand what happens. That which has been born, the knowledge I am, will end. That knowledge which was limited by this body will then become unlimited, so what is to be feared? My fear is not being able to love or be loved. Please understand, feeling love for others consciously and deliberately cannot be done. That feeling of love must be understood, and then love will unfold itself. Love for the self, this consciousness I am. Those who have understood this as the true love have themselves become love. All has merged in them. This chemical which makes the body function is the smallest of the small and the biggest of the big. It contains the entire universe. It is itself love and God. That chemical, the consciousness, provides the light which enables the world to get on. That love is not individual love. The indwelling principle in all beings is that love, the life force. Begin with this emotional love and dwell in your beingness. Whatever happens, happens in that which has been objectified in time and space. From complete absence has come plenty. The body is born, takes its space, and then it goes. But the absolute is not affected. That eternal state prevails in spite of all happenings. Whatever tangible, invisible world there is merges into nothingness. However, that nothingness is also a state, so that nothingness also goes into the absolute state. How did I happen to identify myself with the body? What is this I to whom you are referring who has become entangled in the body and wants to know the answer? I don't know. Why is it that I cannot know who I am? I can only know something different from me. How can something know itself when there is nothing with which to compare? It is alone, without identity, without attributes. We can only talk about it at the phenomenal stage. I have got this illness. What is the illness, and on what has it come about? The illness is not separate from what exists as the body, breath, and the knowledge I am. This is a bundle which has been created. Whatever happens is contained in that bundle. I have been separate from it before conception, and I continue to be separate from what has been created. It has happened. It will continue for a while. Then it will go away. Time has brought this about, and time will end it. Is not what was conceived and born the same now? That I has not changed from the conception till the present moment. It has come for a particular length of time. What was conceived has grown physically, and some of the expressions of this knowledge I am have achieved tremendous things. Some have become avatars. Some have achieved success in various fields. At the end of the time span, the magnificent personalities and whatever they have achieved, both have disappeared. It may have been for many years. This I amness may have remained existent for hundreds of years in particular cases, till, however long the time, there is an end to it. Some of these avatars and jnanis have understood what the I amness is, that it needs a body before it can manifest itself, and the body can only come out of sexual intercourse. Having understood it, instead of remaining in that knowledge apart from manifestation, and merely observing manifestation, they started giving advice to that which is only conceptual. All manifestation is conceptual. They said, let there not be sexual relations. Many of these avatars and jnanis have given this advice. Has it happened? Has the rain stopped? Has the production of population stopped? No. Nature will take its course. It is only to be understood. Nothing is to be done. Remember only one thing, that it is this I amness which has remained unchanged at all times, and which pervades the entire universe. It is the highest God as far as this manifestation is concerned. Ultimately, even this is temporary, and what I am is prior to the senses, spaceless, timeless, without attributes. But in the manifestation, this I amness is the highest God, and you must be one with that. When the body dies, is there a question of rebirth if I still identify with the body? So long as you identify with the body, whatever is written in the scriptures you must follow. When you lose your identity with the body, then you can do whatever you like. Whatever concept you have about yourself cannot be true. The I amness is the prime concept, and it has to be satisfied by letting it do its normal work in the world. The important thing is the realization of the fact that it is a concept. In the world, this concept is always trying to be at the top. Even to the children, we say, you must be first in the examination. Is it wrong to push your personality and individuality on others? What is wrong is that you consider yourself to be limited to this body and shape. What knowledge I try to give is given to the knowledge I am in each of you, which is the same. If you try to get that knowledge as an individual, you will never get it. If I am is a concept and it disappears, how is one to know that that concept has disappeared? That I am as a concept is to be understood while the concept is there. Once it merges in the original state, who or what is there? Who wants to know? The illusory entity has disappeared. I am convinced that this I am is a concept, and it will end. But why should I take it that it is a false concept? How and when did this very thought come? Did this thought not come merely as a movement in that concept itself? If the consciousness were not there, the thought would not be there. Consciousness is a temporary condition which has come upon the total, timeless, spaceless, changeless state. It is a happening which has come and which will disappear. This psychosomatic bundle which is born will suffer or enjoy during its allotted span, so long as I know that I am not the one who experiences, but I am the knower. How am I concerned? It is perfectly clear. I merely watch the body, mind, and consciousness laugh or suffer. In suffering, it may cry out. All right, cry out. If it is enjoying, it may laugh. I know it is a temporary thing. If it wants to go, let it go. While I am talking to you, imparting knowledge at the same time, I am feeling unbearable pain. If it becomes a little more unbearable, I may whimper. It can do what it likes. I am not concerned. So long as you have not known what this consciousness is, you will fear death. But when you really understand what this consciousness is, then the fear leaves, the idea of dying also will go. Consciousness is time-bound, but the knower of the consciousness is eternal, the Absolute. Once the body is gone, that knowledge which experienced itself as Christ, Krishna, Buddha, etc., has subsided, has become one with the total. If you abuse them by word, they do not come and ask why you are abusing them, because that knowledge which experienced itself as one of these has subsided into the totality. Similarly, now you might be a very great person, but when you go to sleep, you forget yourself as a separate entity. Don't say that you are an individual. Just stay in the beingness. The whole problem is the sense of being a separate entity. Once that subsides, that is true bliss. With the arising of the I Am, the whole of manifestation takes place. In any activity, that which witnesses is the I Am. That which is doing all this is Maya, the tendencies, attributes. This is what I'm trying to tell you. But you want something else, something that is in manifestation. You want knowledge. That knowledge I Am is new. It is not the real. The real I am not telling you. Words negate that. Whatever I'm telling you is not the truth, because it has come out of this I Am. The truth is beyond expression. You are going all over amassing knowledge for an individual. This amassing of knowledge is not going to help you, because it is in a dream. How does Maharaj feel about all the people coming here? I don't care. You come and listen to me and go. If you want it, take it. If not, go away. The space in this room is neither for nor against nor in love with the space in that room. It is one. Like a river flowing. If you want to utilize it, you take the water and drink it, assimilate it. Otherwise, let it flow past. I am not charging you, just like the river is not charging for the water. You are spending a lot of money every day. Come on, you put your money away and take my water. While talking about it, I take you to the source of the spring. Their water is coming out in a trickle. This water afterwards becomes a river. An estuary becomes the sea. I am taking you again and again to the source. Once you go to the source, you will come to know that there is no water, actually. Water is the news of I Am. There is only one principle, the principle I Am. Because you are, everything is. Hold it close. You have heard, now live accordingly. My work as a doctor keeps me constantly busy. How can I do as Maharaj says? You are engaging in worldly activity every day, but before you go to sleep at night, forget all that and think of what I have told you. Take one sentence of what I have told you and stay with it. That will lead you to your source. A person meets a man and the man gives him something to drink. Then he tells him, I have put poison in that drink and in 6 months you will die. That person becomes very frightened and believes that he will die in 6 months. Later, he meets a friend and tells him what has happened and that he will die in 6 months. The friend tells him not to worry and says, Here, drink this. If you drink it, there will be no death for you. So the fellow is happy and drinks it. With the first concept, he is full of fright and convinced that he is going to die. Later on, the friend gives him another concept which negates the first concept. This is one of the attributes of the vital air, getting concepts, ideas, creations again and again. It is only when you search for yourself that you become aware of this. The very source of all happiness is your beingness. Be there. If you get involved with the flow of Maya, there will be misery. You try to derive pleasure from the activities of Maya. This is the product of beingness. Be still in your beingness. What I have told you, remember it, chew it, recollect it. It will lead you to stillness. Establish in that knowledge. What will happen? It will be clear to you, just as clear as seeing the 5 fingers on your hand. You observe, this body is made of the 5 elements. And because the 5 elemental body is there, your beingness, the consciousness, has appeared. Your beingness is there because of this food body and the vital breath. And you will be able to watch all these elements, the body, your vital force, and your beingness. But you must be established in that knowledge. In short, you liquidate that yardstick of body-mind as your identity. When this is done, you are Ishvara, you are Brahman. Then do I elevate it to a higher level? Leave it alone. There is no question of elevating to a higher level. Here it is only a question of understanding. Ishvara is the manifestation of the 5 elements in the universe, the I amness. To the Absolute, the witnessing of that I amness occurs. This is the Absolute standpoint, Siddha. This understanding should not be claimed by you. You are a sadhaka. Sadhaka means the process of getting established in the Ishvara principle, the consciousness. Last night there was an experience of very great vibration in the body. In fact, there was no body, just vibration, no form, and very intense. Whatever that vibration, that is the product of the 5 elements. It is not a taste of the I amness. If you want to express it that way, you may. These are the 5 elements, 3 gunas, prakriti, purusha, 10 elements. These are the expressions of your beingness. So when Maharaj says to stay firm in the consciousness of not being the body-mind, how does that relate to these 10 elements? That talk, to transcend the body-mind and establish your beingness, is for the kindergarten spiritual seeker, the lowest level. But now, I am talking to a sadhaka who is getting established in beingness. That first lesson is over now. Oh, your world, your universe is the expression of your beingness. The second step, the sadhaka gets established in beingness, Ishvara principle, manifestation. The sadhaka is manifestation. Now, after listening to all these talks, he will leave this place and tell people that he meets. I have met a Maharaj who was talking, and he has added confusion, worse compounded. Maharaj's teaching is very clear. The only thing that it is happening so fast, and that it is clear so fast. This manifestation is self-effulgent, self-created. But you are still wanting to modify something. You are not through with this. That is why I am saying the consciousness is aware of being everything, that it is Ishvara. Then, because of some firm set habit of the body-mind state, all of a sudden, spontaneously comes a desire to move or adjust everything. And at that moment, something else says, you can't adjust it. It is as it is. That is what has been happening. See that you are not involved in that. That is why it is so helpful for me to be here. The Absolute is aloof. In the sleeping state, the I amness goes into oblivion. He forgets himself. I amness is subjected to the waking and deep sleep states. But the Absolute is also that. You will not comprehend exactly what it means, but as you get established in beingness and transcend that, you will understand how you are beyond deep sleep and waking, because those are only the characteristics of the beingness. That Absolute, is he aware of what is happening when that I amness goes to sleep? I amness is a sort of tool. With I amness only he observes. You entertain some concepts when you listen to me. If you hear something that tallies with your concepts, you are quite happy. You say, it is knowledge. But I completely blast that. I want to blast all concepts and establish you in a no-concept state. Your beingness is the subtlest. At the same time, it has gross qualities latent in it. Take the seed of the banyan tree. It is very small, very subtle, but all the gross matter is already there, inside. Your beingness is the subtlest, and still it contains the entire universe. It is a continuous process. The seed contains everything. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The so-called spiritual seeker wants Brahman. But how? As he orders, the Brahman should happen like that. According to your concepts, you want to recreate the Brahman, which just brings you further from the truth. Everything is the truth, the Absolute. Brahman is created out of your beingness. All this Brahman is illusion, ignorance. Your beingness is ignorance only, from the Absolute standpoint. When you pursue this spiritual path of understanding the self, all your desires just drop off, even the primary desire to be. When you stay put in that beingness for some time, that desire also will drop off. You are the Absolute. That is what was happening today. And there is a certain sadness in realizing that, and yet a great understanding of the Absolute. It is only that consciousness constantly repeating, receding from the Absolute. There is no movement for you. It is minding the show. When you are in consciousness, you understand the nature of consciousness. This consciousness is extinguishing. Knowingness is disappearing, but nothing affects you, the Absolute. That is the moment of death. But what matters? The vital breath is leaving the body and I amness receding, but the I amness is going to the Absolute. That is the greatest moment of immortality. The I amness was there, that movement was there, and I observe it is extinguished. The ignorant one will get very frightened at the moment of death. He is struggling, but for the jnani, it is the happiest moment. Whatever goes on in the world is based on the life force, Brahm Shakti, but the Atman, the witnesser, is totally apart. No action can be attributed to the Atman. So long as you have not understood Brahm Shakti, the vital breath, whose language is the four types of speech which flow through the vital breath, so long as you do not recognize it, whatever the mind tells you, you are bound to take as certain. Those concepts which the mind gives you will be final for you. What are the four types of speech? They are para, source, consciousness. Then pashanti, the emanation of thoughts. Then madhyama, formulation of thought words. And vikhari, language explodes out. The ordinary, ignorant person is not aware of para and pashanti, which starts the whole process. They are too subtle. He starts working on the madhyana, which is also identified with the mind and comes out with words. Vikhari. The mind throws out words and thoughts, and through these we have mistaken our identity as me or mine. whereas whatever takes place is independent of the one who witnesses and is based entirely on the life force. This consciousness has mistakenly identified itself with the body and with thoughts or words. It considers itself to be guilty of something, or that it has acquired merit by some action, whereas everything merely takes place through the action of the life force. The one who understands this vital breath, the life force, is beyond all mental concepts. The one who has not understood it is a slave to his thoughts. After prolonged use of the mantra, will it get dissolved? Both the mantra and the faith in the mantra will get dissolved. There is a purpose in the mantra. In India, the mantra has great efficacy. By concentrating on the mantra, the form behind the mantra will appear out of the ether. But all this is time-bound. Man has evolved all kinds of things for his own preservation, the preservation of the consciousness. I am not any longer concerned with and no longer want the continuation of either the body or the vital breath. That bundle of 3 states and 3 attributes has been born, and whatever happens, happens to that bundle, and I'm not concerned with it. That is why I am totally fearless, without any reaction to a disease which would be traumatic to others. Having known that I am not that which has been born, yet there is some little attachment to that with which I have been associated for a long time. It is a speck of attachment because of the 84 years association. Say I meet someone from my hometown whom I have known for a long time. He comes and he goes away, so I bid him goodbye. And there is that little speck of attachment because I have known him for a long time. The consciousness which is born thinks that it is the body and works through the 3 gunas. But I have nothing to do with this. The whole thing is an illusion. Will there be no continuation of memories after death? Only if there is sugar cane or sugar will there be sweetness. If the body is not there, how can there be memories? The being itself is gone. How does one know what remains? There are 20 people in this room. All 20 people leave, then what remains is there. But someone who has left cannot understand what it is. So in that Para-Brahman which is without attributes, without identity, unconditioned, who is there to ask? This is to be understood, but not by someone. The experience and the experiencer must be one. You must become the experience. What is this Para-Brahman like? The answer is, what is Bombay? Don't give me the geography or the atmosphere of Bombay. Give me a handful of Bombay. What is Bombay? It is impossible to say, so also with Para-Brahman. There is no giving or taking of Para-Brahman. You can only be that. We want the state which Maharaj enjoys. The eternal truth is there, but for witnessing it is of no use. You give up this study in the name of religion or spirituality, or whatever you are trying to study. Do only one thing, that I amness or consciousness is the godliest principle. It is there only so long as the vital breath is there. It is presently your nature. You worship that only. That I amness is something like the sweetness of the sugar cane. Abide in the sweetness of your beingness. Then only will you reach and abide in eternal peace. I feel the life force energy polarized and intensified in my body in the presence of Maharaj. In practicing meditation, the life force gets purified. And when it is purified, the light of the self shines forth. But the working principle is the life force. When this purified life force and the light of Atman self merge, then the concept, the mind, the imagination, everything is taken away. The life force is the acting principle, and that which gives sentience to the person is the consciousness. This is what the tradition of Shiva and Shakti signifies. Shiva means the consciousness, and Shakti is the life force. People go by various names which have been given and forget the basic principle. Merely sit in contemplation and let the consciousness unfold itself. What have you understood? This consciousness starts to get a greater sense of itself, and the prang in the body's energy becomes intensified and polarized. It seems to be part of the purification. When this consciousness and the Pram Shakti life force merge, they tend to go and become steady in the Brahma Randra, and then all thoughts cease. This is the start of samadhi. Then one comes back again and the life force starts its normal activities. Understand that it is not the individual which has consciousness. It is the consciousness which assumes innumerable forms. That something which is born or which will die is purely imaginary. It is the child of a barren woman. In the absence of this basic concept I am, there is no thought. There is no consciousness. Maharaj has said that if you stay in the consciousness, the beingness, it will automatically happen, that you will transcend the consciousness. Is this true? Is there nothing more to be done? Suppose I am sitting here and you come. I come to know that you are. The witnessing happens automatically. Has anything been done? No. It is like that. It is simple. You should understand. Just like a raw mango becomes a ripe mango, it happens. Many people get satisfied in the consciousness state. I'm not going to be satisfied until I am in Maharaj's state. Whatever you consider yourself to be at the moment, when you get rid of that, whatever your true nature, it is spontaneous. Abide in the words of the Guru. When you read Maharaj's teachings, you want very much to be in his company. There is something very enlivening about it. Is it important or essential? It is very advantageous to get rid of all your doubts. That's why the questions and answers are required. This is the place where you get rid of all concepts. The trees which are near the sandalwood tree also have the same smell, because of proximity. What is the self? If you want to expand, the entire world is the manifestation. At the same time, it is very tiny. The seed beingness, like an atom, a pinprick of I amness. That is the very source of love. Such a potential is there. Having provided that love to the entire world, it remains in that seed I am. The leftover is that I am. That pinprick or touch of I amness is the quintessence of all essence. One must have firm abidance or faith in the words of the Guru. Here I do not repeat or imitate what other sages do. I am not championing any religion. I have no pose or stance for anything, not even that I am a man or a woman. The moment you accept any pose or stance, you have to take care of that by following certain disciplines relating to that pose. I abide in the self only. I do not believe that anybody did exist prior to me. When my beingness appeared, then everything appeared. Prior to my beingness, nothing was. Originally, I am without any stigma, uncovered by anything. The Paramatman is the core self, the highest self. Its identity is without any stigma. It is subtler than space. Why are you dying? Understand the first moment, when you understood that you are. Due to what? How? Once you understand this, you are the highest of the gods, the point at which everything rises. The source and the end is the same point. Once you understand that point, you are released from that point. Nobody tries to understand this happening of the I amness. I, the Absolute, am not this I amness. In meditation, your beingness should merge in itself, a non-dual state. Remain still. Do not struggle to come out of the mud of your concepts. You will only go deeper. Remain still.